Thank you. Again, I want to welcome everybody to the presentation. We're going to talk about mock trials this evening. So let's just jump right into it. First, we want to go over just literally what a mock trial is. I don't know how many of you have participated before. We can talk about that a little bit at the end, but it's an actual court case that's going to go to trial, and we have attorneys that are going to talk about their cases. It's the real attorneys. A lot of times it's the real plaintiff, and the purpose is to help them strengthen their case, kind of decide what they want to add to their case or maybe take away from their case, and just get the feedback from you as a participant. So it's a really serious thing because it's an actual case that probably will go to trial. So it's somewhat like doing your civic duty. And also these cases are civil, not criminal cases. So that's a little bit different. And the reason that they conduct these mock trials are, again, because they're trying to strengthen their case or sometimes decide whether they want to settle out of court. This is very valuable to attorneys. I know some attorneys that will have 50 mock trials on the same case. A lot of times they're very high value cases, so they want to make sure that they're putting together a jury that's going to help them win their case, and it often will help them improve their outcome. The selection process. It kind of varies from attorney to attorney, but sometimes they are specific to a county or a state. Many of them are nationwide. That's going to be found in the posting to let you know where you need to be located. The demographic factors that the attorney that I work with looks for is your age, your gender, your race. Sometimes he wants you to be from a small town or a large town. Sometimes he wants you to have an advanced degree, sometimes a high school education and everything in between. So your basic demographic information is going to be taken into consideration. The more available you are and the more consistent you are, is going to increase your chances of coming back, because I get a feedback report every time that I staff these, and he lets me know who he likes and, maybe who did not work out so well. So just want to make sure that you're consistent. If you do consent to participating and then you don't show up, I personally just would not schedule you again. Some of the attorneys are a little more lenient, but since I am doing the staffing, for me, if you let me know, that's one thing. But if you just don't show up, I would not schedule you again. As far as past participation, most of the attorneys don't want you to participate more than once in a 30-day period. Once I build up my roster of attorneys, there'll be more opportunities, but right now it's going to be at most probably once every 30 days, although I do have a couple of attorneys that sometimes will let you participate more than that, but for the most part, it's going to be once every 30 days. And again, you just want to know that it is based on your demographic. So, don't be discouraged if you're not chosen. Now we want to go over the dues. I can't stress enough how important it is to log on early. I've had many people that log on, even if they log on 5 minutes early, sometimes their camera's not working, their audio's not working, or sometimes your computer decides to update at that moment. So if you're not on early, making sure you have a good connection. The main attorney that I work for, he's not going to let you on. So even 15 minutes early is advisable, especially your first time. You want to make sure you know what you're doing. Make sure you silence your cell phones. They are paying you for your time, so they want to make sure that you are not distracted. Like Charles indicated, you want to dress appropriately. I've had people get on these calls shirtless. They're going to remove you. I suggest business casual. You want to put your best foot forward, so make sure you're dressing appropriately. Another thing that I advise you to do is to take notes, because you're going to be getting an immense amount of information. Sometimes the attorneys will talk for 15 minutes just going over the case. So you want to highlight and write down things that you want to bring up later on in the call, so that when it is your turn to talk, you have something to refer back to.
Yeah, I've noticed that that's been helpful for me when doing mock trials is taking notes, and it also helps me stay on task because if you've ever been in a mock trial, people ramble on, and it just helps you stay on task. So
They will ramble on. And two, if they're asking the same question of 12 people, you want to make sure you have at least 3 or 4 points, because by the time they get to you, they may have gone through your answer, or your responses. So it's best to write those down. You want to make sure that you are courteous throughout the session. Do not hog the conversation. Make sure you give others a chance to talk. I have had 2 participants who have literally been very mean to other participants, and one of them was removed immediately. Another one, he just told me not to invite them back. So, just use common courtesy when you're doing this. You do want to make sure your camera remains on. That's also very important, because your facial expressions are really important to the attorneys to kind of see how you're taking in the information and how you're reacting to it. Again, you want to be in a quiet and well-lit setting, not in your car, not in a dark room. They do want to be able to see you. So make sure you have your camera on. Do not eat on camera. It's a little bit tacky. So you will get breaks, so you'll have a chance to go to the restroom or eat or drink. But I advise you not to eat on camera just because it makes a better impression. Again, don't participate from a car or while you're driving. I've had people that are driving that are trying to participate in a mock trial. They will remove you
Talk about
if
the people that's driving and eating at the same time,
driving and eating. I've had people get in their
and on mute.
like in the salon, like that's not working. So, you know, just be mindful. You don't want to belittle others' opinions. I've seen that a lot where people have actually called other people stupid. Like that's not going to get you invited back. So just be courteous and nice to other people. And again, don't dominate the conversation. A laptop or desktop is advisable. And a lot of times they're going to be showing you a presentation just like I have. So if you're on your phone, it's going to be difficult to read. I won't say that you can't use your phone. If you do use your phone, make sure you have it on some type of stand so it's stable. But
Also,
if you
Kim,
can,
the other thing, the challenge about being on the phone is, especially if it's a virtual Zoom, they're doing what you're doing now. You're sharing slides, and it's hard to do both while you're in the Zoom, and especially if they're asking you questions and they're asking you questions about a specific slide, and you're trying
yes,
to flip back and forth, so that can be a challenge.
yeah. So laptop or desktop is advisable. What to expect before the trial? You're going to get a confirmation email. You're going to get your Zoom link and your NDA. For the majority of these, you do have to sign a confidentiality agreement. And you're not able to share this with anyone. If you were able ever to be called for jury duty, you do have to let them know that you're in the focus group and they'll excuse you. You want to be prepared to review the case and the facts because, again, it's going to be a lot of information. So you have to pay attention. It's really embarrassing when they spend their time giving you all this information. They call on you and it's obvious you weren't listening and they have to repeat themselves. So, you just want to make sure you pay attention. The time commitment for the virtual trials is usually 2 to 4 hours, although sometimes I've seen them all day. For the in-person ones, it could be anywhere from 4 hours to a full day. Someone the other day said they had a 4-day in-person trial. They were paid very well for that. So, it just depends. That will all be outlined in your confirmation email as well. You want to make sure that you're reading your confirmation email very well because sometimes they'll have an early bird drawing. So if you get there before a certain time, your name goes into a hat and you may win that. And I think Charles got it the last time, right,
Mhm.
Charles?
I
Yeah.
did. I was surprised. I hardly ever get those. So
You want an extra $50. You want to make sure that you're maintaining engagement and make sure that you're paying attention. Because again, they may call on you, and if you're not paying attention, they're going to call on you. That's another thing. If you're not contributing, they're going to call on you. So you really don't want that either. There will be breaks during the session, depending on the length of the session. If you're in person, you may get food and beverages too. If it's all day, you're definitely going to get at least, 2 meals. So that's kind of nice. Again, the compensation details will all be shared in your confirmation email. So you want to make sure you hold on that until you're paid. The majority of these you're paid either while you're on the call that same day. I don't even know if I've ever had one where I wasn't paid like the same day or maybe the next day, but it's very quick with these mock trials, and that's all going to be outlined in your confirmation email. We went a little bit over, these are going to be civil and not criminal cases, and the biggest difference is when they are civil cases, you just have to prove your case by the preponderance of the evidence, whereas when it's a criminal trial, it's beyond a reasonable doubt. We kind of went over this already, the participants and how you are compensated. It's usually Venmo, PayPal, or Zelle. For the last one, I think we actually got cash. But those are pretty much going to be the main ways that you're paid for these. And we went over this as well too, as far as how long they last. And they are confidential. You have to sign a confidentiality agreement. They don't want you to share that information with anyone. Now I talk fast, but how you get started and where you can find these. One of the best places to find them is on Craigslist. You can go to Craigslist and literally put mock trials in the search bar or the search menu, and it'll bring up mock trials in your area. You can also search them nationwide. And Charles, I don't know if you have the link to the Mock Trial Solutions Facebook page, I have a Facebook page where I post not only the trials that I staff for, but we have other members that will post mock trials from around the country. If you're interested in signing up for Paid for Your Say, I also have companies there in the course that you can sign up with. I also suggest that you follow them on social media on, Facebook or Instagram, because sometimes you'll find out about those even before they're posted. So that's a really good way to find out about them as well. And then if you're interested in joining the course, we'll go over that a little bit later. But I think for now, maybe we will open it up for questions. And I would love for you guys to come on camera. I wanted to add one more thing about, some people want to know how they can be picked more often. One thing that I found, sometimes they'll ask for a foreman, either for you to volunteer or someone to nominate you. I've done that a couple times. And first of all, sometimes they'll pay you more. I don't know if that happens often, but I did get paid more for doing that. But it just kind of makes you stand out because you're the foreman and you're moderating everything, keeping everyone on task. So I think that's a great thing to do if you're ever given that opportunity and you feel comfortable with it. Another big thing too is they really like when you go against the grain. Like if you have 12 people and everybody's kind of thinking the same way, I mean, that's fine, but they really like when someone thinks the total opposite, because usually the defense or whatever side is really going to like a juror like that. So if you feel, totally different than everyone else, you definitely should voice that and stick to your guns. Don't be afraid to voice your opinion if it's different. Do we have anyone that wants to speak? I'm going to kind of look.
There was a question, Kim. It says, how much do the mock trials usually pay?
When they're virtual, like the one that I staff for most is 3 hours for 125. It doesn't always go to 3 hours. Sometimes it's like 2 hours. When they're in person for all day, 350, 350 or 400. I haven't done an in-person all day one for a while, but I think that's a pretty good range, 350 to 400 for one day. So you can imagine how much it is if you're doing 2 or 3 days. It's a lot. I mean, I think it's a lot if you're doing it all day for more than one day, because it is kind of mentally draining. It's a lot of information. And sometimes people get really emotional too, depending on what the subject is, it may kind of hit close to home. So they're interesting, but they can also be a little bit, a little draining, little mentally draining.
Todd was saying, in focus groups, I've heard that single people rarely get selected and that we should. Okay. Todd, I don't know what you're doing, but I'm single and I get mock trials quite often.
I mean, when it comes to qualifying, they're the easiest really, because you're not even really asked questions. It's just based on your age, your gender, your race, and your level of education and your location. So everyone's welcome. All political views, everything's welcome. Hi, Katina.
Hi,
How are
good
you?
evening, everyone. I'm
Evening.
well, thank you. Um, I just want to say thank you so very much for all that you have done. You have been such a blessing in my life. I'm sorry, I have been doing my hair all day and I got it tied up. That's why I don't want to be on camera, but I will not be using my little recorder because that's what I did in college, especially if I had thought I had missed one thing that the teacher said. I'm a teacher's kid, so
Okay.
thank God I was naturally smart because I did, have mostly A's and B's. So I was always afraid of missing that one question that they, either just threw out there really quick and went back to talking about another subject. And it's like, wait, why did he say that? But anyways,
I have a
thank
feeling
you.
you're going to be just fine.
Okay. Oh, thank you so much. I'm so looking forward to this.
And let me ask you, are you in the course?
The pay for your say course or the Mark
Yes.
trial?
Yeah, the paid for your sake.
Yes. Yes. I'm
How long have you been in?
just a couple of months and I've actually tested two products and I've also done some videos for product tube. And
Yeah,
those have been nice and easy.
perfect.
So, yeah, so I'm very happy.
Christina said she got paid right before the session was over. Yeah, I think I knew who that was with. Yeah,
Kim,
he's
Kim,
awesome.
there was a question about from Ann who was he or she was saying that can you elaborate or show an example how to find and apply from Craigslist, I guess for mock trials?
Can you
I
see
can
my?
see it now.
Okay. Now, I don't know how you do it, Charles. I'm kind of old school, but first I go to my city, and some people will literally go over here. I think they just do it from here. Well, it's right there, and put in mock trial. And well, look, well, that's different. I don't really do it this way, but some people do. I mean, you have a lot of things that came up. I kind of do it the old school way, and it's probably the longer way. I find most of them either in etc. I don't see any there, or these last three. And if you're in the course, I have this information in the course: computer, creative, or crew under gigs.
Yeah, gigs is where I go to.
A lot of times I find them there. So those are the three places. I don't see any there right now. And you can do this on a nationwide basis too. And as luck would have it, I don't see any. But yeah, I just go to Craigslist and look that way. And again, I would follow the companies on social media, but that's what I do. And if you're in the course, you can follow those companies on social media that I have listed on the marketing research list.
The next one is, what hours of the day are the mock trials typically?
They're typically during the day, like the ones I staff for are 8 to 1 or 2 to 5. I have one attorney does them on a Sunday, like a 12 to 2 or 3 to 5. I think I've only done one in the evening. Yeah, a lot of them are nationwide. Sometimes even when you go to other cities, Craigslist, they don't care where you live. So unless it specifically says you must live here,
Yeah.
I would apply for it. I would apply. Oh, there's Teddy Joy. She got what, 2-day one for $750.
Oh, wow.
And I'm sure she was fed very well too. Melissa, this is going to be on my YouTube page, not in the course, but it's going to be on YouTube. Oh, you already answered that.
No, you're good.
Hours.
Have you heard of this one before, Kim? This person mentioned, hold on, let me go back up to it. He was saying that he was asked if he had a criminal record before he could do his first mock trial.
That was part of the screening?
That's what it sounds like. I'm trying to recall if I've ever seen that.
Well, or did it say if you're a convicted felon, something like that, probably?
I don't know, like,
I don't know. I mean,
I,
each company is kind of different. That might be one of the questions.
yeah, unless they're looking for, because I don't know, can people that have served time can they be on jury duty?
I don't know the answer to that.
Let me Google that. Hold on.
I don't know the
I'll
answer.
let you continue.
I don't know the answer. Sometimes if you are in the medical field or if you're in insurance, sometimes you're excluded depending what the case is about. So I've had a couple where someone was a nurse and someone wasn't insurance, and we just booked them for another one. Because sometimes they're malpractice cases.
In Georgia, it doesn't look like you can participate in jury duty if you've served time. So I would say if you're based on your state, I would look that up just to confirm, because
Oh, maybe they mean I said that the attorney will sometimes give me feedback. I'm not sure if that's what you mean.
like if they do bad or poorly, will we reach out?
Well, yeah, and actually, I did have to let one person know because they did one and they loved it, and the attorney was just like absolutely never wanted them back, and she kept asking for more. So, I mean, I told her, she couldn't participate with that attorney. What's funny is I have someone that's banned with one attorney, but another attorney loves her. So it just depends. They have different personalities. Like I've had one of the attorneys say that, a person's too plaintiff friendly. They're just, too swayed to one side, which is kind of peculiar to me, but, that was one of his comments. Yes, California is absolutely a good place for mock trials, either nationwide or state specific. I see Kelly mock trials. Yeah, Tanya Joy said, yeah, they're on there all the time. Tracy came through Craig the Writer Stewart. What is this 40% off we have to? No, it's not for mock trials. That's for the course paid for your say, Lois. Because there may be people on here that aren't in the course. When the email was sent out, it was sent out to everybody, including people in the course and those that have just provided their email address.
Also, Lois mentioned something about the trainings updated since the launch of Discord. Says seems some things are no longer there last time I checked.
No, we're adding them slowly. It's a little bit different. It's not going to be like it was the first time around, but we are adding more things to the course.
Yeah, because you did that to kind of streamline it, right, Kim? Because it was a lot of information in there and kind of became overwhelming. So
Yes, that's definitely one of the reasons. Someone said they got an early bird prize for last week. I learned about pay for say through Lonnie. Oh, Lonnie B. Okay, I haven't heard that name in forever. Craig was only on Lonnie B's once. So I was hoping we would go back on his show, but okay. How can I show my face? Okay, Tanny's on top of
she
it.
did that one. What about this one, Kim? This one says this is further down Wing Tech. Says there are no local focus groups in my area. Would you recommend maybe searching for focus groups in the nearest largest city for virtual options? I live somewhat rural Georgia. I think you kind of touched on it earlier.
Yeah, they don't have to be in your area at all. The attorney that I staff for, you can live anywhere in the US, and that's an important thing I'm saying, US. You can participate if you're in another country. And people have tried it and they know right away. So, you you do need to live in the US.
Also, I think I saw a raised hand. I don't know if the name was like Katina or Katrina. If you could raise your hand again.
Hi, yes, Katina, sorry. I was asking, is it okay to apply? I live in North Carolina.
Is it okay to
And
apply?
I haven't seen a lot. Yes, is it okay to apply in other areas as long as it doesn't say you must be from this area?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I can do that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
How do you get paid if you don't have PayPal? Well, I can only speak for the ones that I staff for. It's PayPal. We do PayPal or Zelle. I'll do Venmo or Cash App, but prefer PayPal or Zelle. Tanny's already answered all the questions, so
Yes, which is very helpful.
thank you, Tanny. Somebody said shouldn't matter. You can be president. You can run for president. I think that was the felon question.
Woo. Well, certain privilege for some people, certain privilege for others. Okay,
that's funky. Or somebody would say, let's move on to the next
that's
subject.
great. Next
What do you have to
question.
what do you have to do to get banned?
Now, why are you trying to do that?
Well, they want to know. Like, I mean, someone mentioned someone's weight, basically saying looks like they've had plenty of donuts.
Audacity of them.
You know,
Oh,
cursing.
profanity, yeah, profanity is a big one.
Cursing will definitely get you banned. Or sometimes I've been told the person's they're not on subject at all. They're just talking about all kind of different things other than the task at hand. So that's not helpful.
That's an interesting you mentioned that because in one of my last mock trials with one of your attorneys, he would ask the lady a question and she would not answer the question. She was answering everything else except for, and she was taking notes. And everybody was like, ma'am, you are not answering this question. Move on. Like you're not helping us out at all. So every time he would come to her, we would be like, oh God, here we go, here we go, here we go. So yes, please try to stop
and
it.
they were very, very candid with me. So I have to clean it up if I do pass along the information. That's their business. And, a lot of times they're working on behalf of another law firm. How can we tell if we're in the database? I remember doing it via the paid person. Can you email me? I think it's Danielle. You can email me at kimberly@paidforyoursay.com and I'll make sure you're in the database. Just in my trial 2 weeks ago, was that $200? Yeah, I was in that one too.
Oh, did you want to tell people that's how we actually met?
So yeah, that's how I met Charles. It was 3 years ago in September. We met at a mock trial at one of the local companies. So but I think we had kind of been texting before that, but we just kind of hit it off, and here we are 3 years later.
Yeah, it was at my favorite company's office as well. So well, at that time it was a different name. So
Yeah.
now it's different. So
how do you get notified if you've won the early bird? So when you go in, they'll usually give you a little ticket, half of a raffle ticket, and then they'll just pull a name. They pull it usually before you go in. Maurice was in some focus group, he's saying. I'm not sure which one it is. I was in that group with the Oh, Todd was in the one where the person said it looked like she had had too many donuts or something. Yeah, that was really bad. It was really
Is that the
bad.
same time from earlier where he said he wasn't getting into mock trials, but he's in. You know, I'll move on. Never mind.
Yeah, I don't know. And actually the lady that was sent to, she was very upset, and I felt really bad. And of course that person was banned.
You don't know. I'm like, you don't know that lady life. She might have had a stressful morning. Let her eat her donuts in peace, please. Okay.
I want to hear from Brianna that just got $800. And I know Brianna. I've met her before at a focus group.
So yes, I just did a 4-day mock trial. It was online, but it was from 9 to 5. But it was $800, and it was amazing. I enjoyed it.
Was it kind of mentally taxing? That's a lot.
Yes, it was. It was, but we got a lot of breaks, and we got an hour lunch. So
I mean, we're so spoiled. I mean, that's good money in your home.
yes.
So that's good. How do you report your earnings on taxes? Okay, Tanny got that. Unless you get a 1099, I wouldn't worry about it. Todd got 50. The one with the donut. Oh, the one with the donuts. Maurice was on there too. I see what Mark wrote. That actually happened where someone was going to the bathroom while they were in the mock trial. So we don't advise that. And yeah, let's not do that. Sometimes, usually if you have to pay for parking, they will pay, especially when it's an all day one.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they'll pay for your parking. I haven't been to one where I had to pay for parking.
I was gonna say,
Actually, I did go to one where I had to pay for parking. It's been some years ago, but
was that like in downtown?
yep. Tanny says she's had some great mock trial meals. Yeah, sometimes they're really nice meals. Breakfast, lunch, cookies, all kinds of stuff. You just have to try to stay awake. Yes, I love mock trials. So yeah, I do participate. Actually, when I started working with attorneys and staffing them, that's one thing that I thought I was going to miss, but I still participate every now and then. Just like focus groups too. Like I think I'll always participate in focus groups. Yeah, that money adds up. And it's consistent, especially if you're consistent with it. I know Brianna does. I'm just calling her out. She does really, really well with it. I think her and her husband both do them. So
is it possible to ask a question without using the chat, or can I?
yeah, I would love you guys to do that.
Okay, I apologize. I'm so mad at myself. I forgot, and then at the last minute, I was like, "Oh shoot, I should have been on this call." So I'm very upset about it, but I will go back and watch. Here's my thing. I'm not in Atlanta, and a lot of times I feel like the mock trials are the good ones. They're there, and I can't move to Georgia. I'm sorry, I just can't.
Not true.
So
That's true though.
okay, so do you have, I'm in Michigan, so do you have like a Michigan link or something where we can really get hooked up over here? Because we need help over here. Yes.
Okay, so are you in Discord? Well,
I am in Discord.
are you just talking about mock trials?
Yes, I'm talking about mock trials.
Are you on my Facebook page, the Mock Trial Solutions Facebook page?
That I cannot say that I am.
Okay, I want you to email me too, but I do have a Mock Trial Solutions Facebook page. I think Charles put it in here.
Okay.
Email me, Kimberly@paidforyoursay.com. I might have something for you next week.
Okay. That would be awesome because I need every bit of everything. Thank you.
But on that group, I mean, they post them from everywhere.
Okay.
A lot of different states. So yeah, Georgia does have a lot of going on, but I have people living in the smallest cities ever, ones I've never even heard of, and they do very well. And they never, they're just doing them remotely. So location's not, mock trials in Virginia or nationwide, absolutely. Thank you, Sonia. So yeah, don't let location hold you back, because that's really not a barrier anymore, especially since the pandemic, because during the pandemic, everybody was virtual, and a lot of them have just stayed that way, or just, stayed that way. And plus they still do them in person. North Carolina, there's a lot of stuff going on in North Carolina.
Kim, I have another question. I'm
Okay.
sorry, I don't mean to cut in front of anybody. My question is, are the mock trials typically applicable, when you apply for them like a screener, are they just I mean, I'm just saying, how do we get them?
How do you get them?
How do you get them? Is it the same way? There's a blast out there and you click on it and then you go and fill out the information, or is it a little bit different in the process?
Yeah, it's a little bit different. And again, the recording will be up, but one place you can go is Craigslist. You're in the course, right?
Yes, I've done all of that. It's been a minute since I've been doing anything in the paid for your say community, but yes, I've done the course a while back.
So you can go to
Okay.
Craigslist that way. And that is in the course. I tell you what headings to go under. The Facebook page, there's lots of postings there. And I also suggest following the companies on Facebook, Instagram, wherever they have a social media preference. And it's not really a screener. It's more like the ones I have is literally just your demographic information. Some of them are a little more questions, but it's not like focus groups. It's not nearly as hard. It's just basic questions. They might ask you if you know like 30 different people. They want to make sure you're not affiliated with anyone in the case. Of course, they're going to ask about your occupation. But it's not like a screener. It's more just giving your information.
Okay.
But make
And
sure
then
you
I will email you.
email me, okay? Make sure you email me.
I will. And you said Kimberly, it paid for your save.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'm done. Thank you.
Someone said Facebook is a scary place. You can just go to that page. People will I don't know what you call those profiles. Set up a profile just for that group if you want to. Oh, Carl said, yeah, the group is a safe place. Yes. There's a lot of people in there too.
Hi, Kimberly. I have a question. Can you hear me? My background is kind of noisy. Hi, Kimberly. Hi, Charles. I just have a quick question and more like a comment. So I came through Funky Dineva's Pay for Your Say. And thank you. I came back in May and I signed up and I did one survey so far on entertainment and I got paid for that recently. And I noticed that when I do the questions, when I fill out the information, I noticed that a lot of times when I go through the questionnaire, I put in my income, I put in my household size. It say, thank you for taking this survey. You'll be notified if you qualify. And I noticed that a lot of times, because I am single, and then when I put in that I'm a nonprofit associate professional, I noticed that I kind of get blocked a little bit. Got me being single, no children. I put in my education level. It seems like I kind of get blocked from that.
Are you in Discord?
Yes, I'm for your say. Yes, ma'am.
You're in Discord. So
yeah.
Like we were saying earlier, they're really looking for people of all walks of life. I will tell you that some occupations will exclude you. And it'll be pretty obvious what those are. But also, if you're in Discord, I would recommend direct messaging Shakise. You probably see Shakise in there.
Yes.
Direct message her and she will literally answer every question you have. You can also email me. And we can kind of go more in depth on what you have going on.
Okay. Thank you.
Get you on the right track. You're welcome.
Okay.
Thank you guys. We appreciate it. You guys have a good evening.